And I do believe we are now live. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of TTG's 1 Week at a Time. It's, as you know, it's our weekly catch-up every week with Lee Hunt of Deben Travel down in Woodbridge. Lee, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Very good.
Fantastic. And you're in the cruise shop yet again this week, I see?
Yeah, back in the cruise shop today. The building work still hasn't been done. They're still damp in the cruise shop, but taken a decision Monday just to give days off that are required, and obviously we're not getting the full or volume of bookings that we would like, so just makes sense at the moment to shut the cruise shop every Monday, and then we'll just operate Tuesday through to Saturday for the time being.
Yeah, it seems like quite a pragmatic approach, but one, like you said, that's sort of been the only one to take really at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of those that it's a struggle to convince me to even close early on a day, let alone shut a shop for a day. But needs must. It's more important that the team get a proper day off. And then come back raring to go Tuesday through to Saturday at the moment. So, and obviously if we do have any cruise inquiries, we're lucky that that Deben Travel are only 20 steps away, so people can pop around and see us there.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up from the start, really. I was going to sort of ask how your weekend was, and also how you're sort of coping, I suppose, mentally and your own sort of well-being, because we're now, what, 18, 19 weeks into this crisis,
Yeah,
and this pandemic. How are you sort of dealing with that yourself? Yeah.
Really difficult. I must be honest. Really difficult. Last week was a tough week again. I think mentally. I think like most people out there, certainly there were days last week where I was more than happy to throw in the towel, forget it completely, shut the doors, go home, and just not bother anymore. And there have been certainly days for the last few months where I felt that way. And then I must be honest, then some lovely regular customers would pop in and say hello and how lovely it is to see us, and bring us gifts and chocolate and wine. And then you think, you know what, there is a reason why we do this. We do this because we like what we do. We like dealing with people. We like seeing people's reactions after a fantastic holiday. We like dealing with those regular customers over the years. But it is just really difficult. As I say, there are absolutely days where I'm completely fed up with it and will be happy never to walk through the door again.
Yeah, I imagine, and I'm going to say, if anyone who's watching wants to comment or ask any questions, or sort of just join the conversation, please feel free to do. I imagine travel agents probably feel the same as a lot of people at the moment, but their opinion and their views are a lot more intensified with everything that's going on. Do you feel that you have there's good days, there's bad days, there's terrible days, and there's much better days right now?
Yeah, I think for us at the moment, it's unfortunately more bad days than good. I think obviously from a business owner's perspective, I obviously am concerned financially about the business, obviously. I'm concerned about the team I employ. They've got families and they've got houses. And so obviously as a business owner, I feel that pressure as well, absolutely. But then I also feel for our customers who have kind of, whether it's the first time that they're booked with us or whether they've been booking with us since we first opened. There are customers out there now that have been waiting the best part of 18 weeks for a refund, and it feels like we've let them down, albeit most of them are very understanding that it's not our fault. But that plays on my mind. It plays on my mind even when I'm at home. It's easy to say, don't let it bother you, but it does. It bothers me, it bothers my team. And so I think, when those refunds are cleared, I think that'll take a massive weight off our minds. And at the moment, although putting through a fraction of the bookings that we'd normally pop through, when we do a booking, it's kind of calls for celebration, really.
Yeah. I bet it feels absolutely just amazing now just to get that money in and
Yeah,
get it in.
definitely.
So how has the last week been, Lee? Can you sort of sum it up in a few lines or?
Yeah, from a cruise perspective, a disaster. No cruise bookings at all come through last week. In fact, we did not even have one new cruise inquiry
Mm.
last week, which is not good at all. From a Deben travel perspective, a scattering of bookings, certainly nowhere near the volume we'd expect. A booking to the Channel Islands over Christmas. We did a couple of villas, one for late this summer, one for next year, a Thailand, a St. Lucia, a New York. So I think overall we did about 6 or 7 bookings in a whole week.
Yeah.
Normally we would pop through more than that in a day. So, the volume of bookings certainly isn't there, but every booking at the moment is a celebration, really. I'm just pleased that people are booking.
Yeah, and we were we'll get onto it in a second. We were speaking about it before coming on air about where those bookings were coming from. But in terms of perhaps the high street as well, we're a few weeks in now to face coverings, and you said obviously being in Woodbridge, a big tourist area, it's hard to sort of tell if they're locals around or if they're tourists filling the streets. How is the high street looking for you at the moment, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, for us, and speaking to other retailers locally as well, and I think it is important to speak to other retailers locally just to get an indication of what is happening out there. And you can build up some good relationships with other retailers as well. The high street is busy, but for us, it's busy because of the tourists. It doesn't feel like there's many buyers out there at the moment. There's a lot of browsers, but from our yeah, if you were to look out the window, it looks like it's busy. From our perspective, the footfall coming into the store has certainly decreased since the mandatory face coverings. Now, we don't really know whether that's because of the mandatory face coverings or whether that's just coincidental. But certainly we've seen less people coming in since the introduction of the mandatory face coverings. And ironically, people come in and the first thing they do is pull down their face mask to talk to you. So it's quite a strange one, really, when you observe people. But yeah, hopefully people are seeing their high streets getting busier, and with local lockdowns kind of across the UK now, it adds to the worrying time us as travel agents have got. If we think about all the agencies in the Greater Manchester area, it's a real blow to them, with those local lockdowns in place, and at the same time those in Leicestershire, that they're probably thinking, well, this is great, we can hopefully start getting things up and running again. It's the unpredictability of it all, I think, that's a worry at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And we had that on Friday with the government announcement that lockdown easing measures are going to be postponed for a while, I suppose. And again, you mentioned the local lockdowns. Do you think that's just a part of being a small independent retailer now, that you're going to have to be, I suppose, agile and just sort of be bracing yourself for that to come at some point, do you think, over the next year or so?
Yeah, I think now we've been through what we've been through, I would say we at least now have a plan in place, because when we were forced to shut early March, we didn't know what to do. We didn't have a clue. We were still
never happened. Yeah,
headless chickens. Who's got a computer at home? Who hasn't? What we're going to do with the files? What we're going to do with the phones? At least now that we do have a system in place. So if a local lockdown is implemented, we kind of know what we have to do. Whereas before, it probably took a few days for us just to get our heads around actually what was happening. So I think having that system in place does give us a tiny, bit of peace of mind, if you like. But certainly very worrying if a local lockdown was to be implemented in the area.
Yeah, when you mentioned the plan, do you just mean sort of a more top-line government plan, or you've got your own sort of contingency plan and you'd know who were doing what and how you'd be operating?
Yeah. I think if the government, for example, were to say there's going to be a local lockdown in our area, silly things, we now know how to divert the phones. We now know who's got what equipment at home to help them book holidays, research holidays, reply to emails even. So I think we know what we're doing from that aspect now, if there was something to happen. So we've got our own kind of internal plan in place should the government enforce a lockdown in our area. And I think it's probably very important that everyone's got that. But bearing in mind, a lot of people out there may still be working from home anyway.
This is it. It's sort of crisis within a crisis management, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah, doubling down on that. But yeah, I was just wondering if you thought Friday's announcement about those lockdown easing measures being sort of pushed back a bit, whether that would have any impact, do you think, or do you think that sort of the high street and sort of footfall has reached a sort of level that it might stay at now for a while to come? Or
I think there were people certainly that I've spoken to that were maybe expecting it anyway, so it may not have come as a huge surprise. I mean,
yeah,
for us in our area, we do have kind of a few beauty salons and things that we haven't seen reopened. There's a few clothing retailers that haven't reopened. So I don't think it came as a massive surprise. And I think, unfortunately, certainly for the foreseeable future, it's going to have to be something that we live with. In that government are giving guidance for places to reopen and then quickly close them off again. So I just think it's going to be something that we're going to have to live with for the foreseeable future, really.
and it's like that with destinations, isn't it? We've seen it over the last few weeks. It's so sort of stop start with the taps. But in terms of moving on to, I think you mentioned it at the start of the episodes. In terms of some bookings, getting that revenue in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you were telling me that actually come from social media marketing and social media promotions, and you've really had some real success with that over the last week or so.
Yeah, definitely. I think certainly over the last few weeks, we've done more bookings as a result of social media and our weekly newsletter that we send out as a business than in the 8 years we've been open, without a doubt. You know, we're not used to seeing the volume of bookings and requests and inquiries coming through from Facebook, particularly. A little bit on Twitter, not as much though, mostly Facebook, and certainly what we call our Friday newsletter that goes out to all our customers. So, without that, we literally would have only done one booking last week, because only one booking last week was a result of a telephone inquiry, if you like, not even a customer coming in. So social media really did help us last week.
And what would you sort of put it down to? Is it the way, have you changed the style of it, or are you sort of doing it in a different way, or do you think that people are just so much more virtual now, more digital, and that's what they would want to go for?
Yeah, well, again, coincidence more than anything. Last year, I paid for a couple of team members to go on a social media training day where they were learning about Facebook, particularly the algorithms that kind of support Facebook, and how, if we need to boost posts, how we can target certain markets, how many images you'd ideally have on Facebook to get better reach. And the team have just been doing a great job at just selecting fantastic offers, but also offers that we think people will be engaged with and share with friends and family. And so certainly last week, the two villa bookings that we got were as a result of Facebook. The Thailand booking was a Facebook offer. The Channel Islands at Christmas was as a result of our Friday newsletter that we send out. So it's great. It really is. And so I think that is massively helping us at the moment. Not the value of bookings we're used to having, I must add, because we're used to booking, shall we say, much higher value bookings, and we haven't had one of those for quite a while now. But at least it is bookings coming in.
Yeah, I was going to say you can't sort of poo-poo great revenue, can you? It's great to have it. Yeah.
No, if it's a booking, we'll take it.
Yeah, no, that's fab. And in terms of some other positive news, I know you were having a webinar with EasyJet Holidays about their impending trade launch as well. What can you reveal from that? Any sort of nuggets? And did you like what you were hearing from them?
Yeah, it's quite exciting, really. So, as last week we had the webinar with EasyJet Holidays, and it's fantastic that they're launching out to the trade, and that's obviously at the moment we're part of Global Travel Group, soon to be under that TTNG umbrella, and it's great that both Global and TTNG have the contracts there in a few weeks' time to be able to book EasyJet Holidays. Again, it's not, we don't book mass volumes of packages like that, shall we say. A lot of our business is more made up of long haul and tailor-made, but still it's fantastic to know that we're going to have the option of booking EasyJet Holidays, particularly since the loss of Thomas Cook a couple of years ago, and Monarch before that. We have found there without tailor making it ourselves, dynamically packaging it ourselves, there is certainly a gap in the market. So for us to be able to get on the back of that would be brilliant. And I think as well, locally, we have got some really good routes with EasyJet out of places like Southend and Stansted. So they've got the regional flying, which a lot of our customers are looking for. And so hopefully that will really just benefit us as a business.
Do you think, in terms of speaking on that package holiday line, do you think that with everything that's going on, and obviously not not DIYing your holidays as a consumer, you book through a travel agent, recommended, trusted, and the added value of and the added protection of the package, do you think that that will come into force more and more? Do you think that people want a sort of protected, a more simple holiday, so to speak?
Definitely. I think certainly over the last week in mainstream media, even on TV, we've heard people talking about booking a proper package holiday with a travel agent, which is great. It's music to my ears. It's kind of the publicity that we've been looking for years, and now we need it more than ever. And so it's great that that's kind of getting out there in the mainstream now, that people should be looking to book a proper protected package holiday. Because for me, a package holiday just isn't, a TUI or an EasyJet. That, I think maybe from a consumer's perspective, they've got a particular mindset of what a package holiday is. And I think our challenge now is to let those consumers know that a package holiday, it doesn't necessarily have to be an all-inclusive resort. What a package holiday means is all the components of your holiday packaged together and financially protected. So whether that's a week in Mallorca in an all-inclusive resort, or whether that's traveling around Indonesia, it's a package holiday. And I think, again, kind of as travel agents, we could do a really good job at educating our customers, really, in that, don't be kind of tunnel visioned into what you feel a package holiday is, because people do say, "Oh, I'm not looking for a package holiday." Well, let me tell you. And so, we have got that responsibility to help educate our clients as well.
Yeah. Do you think there's almost like a bit of a stereotype, or maybe a bit of a snobbishness, almost, so to speak, around the whole package holiday, so to speak? Yeah.
Definitely, there's a snobbishness, there's a stigma to using the word package holiday. It's and it's a shame, because again, people just don't understand what that package holiday is. I kind of think of back in the day, I'd watch Hyacinth Bouquet on Keeping Up Appearances. She's the sort of person you wouldn't imagine going on a package holiday, but she would absolutely go on a holiday, but she wouldn't necessarily call it a package holiday. I think we've got kind of a job to do as an industry to help educate people in that.
Yeah, no, that's I guess an interesting point, perhaps. Yeah, a campaign to sort of rebrand
the package holiday.
Oh, there we go.
I can see the hashtag now.
And in terms of obviously we're now into August. God, goodness me, the weeks and months sort of seem to be flying by these days. But I wanted to ask you, obviously, sort of June time, was it, where you announced that you weren't going to be doing departures for July and August, and you sort of took that proactive step to say, with everything that's going on, the restrictions and changes and twists and turns, that you won't be doing that. I just wanted to know whether you'd reconsider that for September, perhaps, or have you changed your mind at all, or are you...
No, certainly haven't changed my mind for August departures. I must be totally honest, we aren't getting the volumes of inquiries anyway, but even if we were getting the volume of inquiries for August, I think with the uncertainty out there at the moment, and with the pressures that we've still got in place with previous cancellations, I personally, as a business, wouldn't be taking any bookings for August, because there are, for me, still too many uncertainties in place. September onwards, absolutely. We are taking bookings, and we have taken bookings for September. We've taken bookings for September, and then 2 days later, then bookings be cancelled. But, we are taking bookings for September. I think at the moment, with there being so many airlines consolidating flights, cancelling routes, cancelling hotels, there is obviously uncertainty, but I think we're in a position now where we can explain to our customers, absolutely, this is a great offer, more than happy to book this holiday for you, but you do need to be aware that things can change at a drop of a hat. And I think actually most of our customers, well, all of our customers, are aware of those risks, if you like, that are involved in booking a holiday. And I think as long as we make them aware, that's all we can do. Because I think there is demand out there for people to want to get away. And I think as long as we make our customers aware, then that's all we can do, really.
Yeah, I suppose giving them that resilience, right, to say, we can book it now, but just keep watching the news, keep looking at the updates, and then roll with the punches almost when things inevitably might happen, right?
Definitely. Because we've had instances, as I say, with flight cancellations already for bookings in September and October. And we've also had frustrating instances where accommodations have been cancelled, and so a suitable alternative has been offered. But sometimes the customer isn't happy with that suitable alternative.
Yeah.
So again, it's that kind of let battle commence sort of thing, and you think we can do without it, but we do need to start taking bookings again. We really do.
Yeah, yeah. And compared to your September bookings to where they were last year, I imagine it's probably just incredibly astronomically different, right, in terms of sort of booking levels. Yeah,
non-existent. September is our busiest month of the year for departures.
Yeah,
it's our busiest month of the year for departures, and literally we have got a handful of bookings travelling in September. So. The rest of the team always used to laugh at me. I always used to say, "Well, I won't put any spreadsheets together of our financial performance, but if the filing cabinet's looking really full, I'm happy." And you know, there's a lot of stuff rattling around in that filing cabinet at the moment for September. There's a lot of space.
I was just interesting. I wanted to ask whether you or any of the rest of your team were planning on going away yourselves. I know some agents have gone on holiday or have gone on trips and then they're sort of promoting what the experience is like and going to certain resorts and destinations. Do you or any of the team plan to do that at all, or is it all just sort of just focused on the job in hand at the moment?
Yeah, neither myself or any of the team have any plans to go away kind of certainly August or September.
Yeah.
We've all got trips planned for later, but again, you know, they're a little bit up in the air at the moment. We've got one of the teams due to go out to New York, so you know that's looking a little bit iffy at the moment. And you know, one of the teams due to go over to southern Spain, so again unsure at the moment. So, but you know, just because we aren't doing those trips ourselves, it doesn't mean that we can't say to customers, and we absolutely are saying to customers, a huge amount of the travel trade have been out, a huge amount of people are holidaying, and actually the experiences that they're having at the airport, on board the aircraft, and obviously whilst over there, are very, very encouraging. So I think in this instance, we don't necessarily have to do the trip ourselves to be able to sell it to our customers. And be nice to have a holiday plan, but certainly no, not at the moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely deserve one, Lee. You and everyone watching, every agent does. Oh goodness me, you do. But yeah, I just wanted to just to finish off to talk about the hashtag Save Travel campaign that TGG launched last week. It's sort of a rallying call to government really to ask for sector specific support from Rishi Sunak and Grant Shapps. Obviously, yeah, you know, the leisure and catering have had their help out to eat out. Can travel get something similar? You know, we need that support. I just wanted to ask your thoughts, Lee, and sort of what backing the campaign meant to you as an independent travel agent.
I think, the campaign's fantastic, and I think it's one of those that certainly has grown a lot of momentum within the travel industry. You know, for all of us, I think there's you know, everyone in the travel industry is getting behind it. I suppose what we need to work on now is those that are not within the travel industry to get behind it as well. So our customers, our friends, our family. So we just get many people to sign that as possible, rather than it just being an industry campaign. It is literally a UK-wide campaign, and you know, saving travel, yes, obviously is there for the travel industry because it's our livelihoods, but actually, you know, what was it? Something like over 30 billion people, you know, rely on the travel industry in the UK. Or sorry, the financial rewards to the UK, over 30 billion pounds. So, you know, it is a big money maker for the UK, and I think it's up to kind of not just the travel industry to get behind that. It's very difficult to know kind of you know, whether the government could put something in place like this eating out campaign that they've got, which has now started this week. But certainly there's a lot that the government can do to learn from the mistakes that they've made over the previous weeks to just make our lives that little bit easier. And so yeah, hopefully the campaign will continue to build momentum and more people will get behind it.
Yeah, if I can just do, I don't know, sort of a quick plug or whatever, but on the we've got sort of over 2,000 signatures now and sort of rapidly growing. On the TGG website, there's a whole sort of action plan and a pack for all the activity stuff that you can do in terms of speaking to your MP as well. I was going to say, and sort of getting that message out to your customers. Lee, have you been doing the same in terms of getting the message out to your?
It's ready to go on our newsletter this Friday. We've printed off the poster for the window, so there's a lot of stuff that we're doing to back the campaign, absolutely. And I think as well, on the back of that, I think tour operators probably need to think about what they can do to then help support us as agents, whether it be more low deposit options to encourage more. There's lots of tour operators out there that are allowing 2021 holidays to be booked on a low deposit option, which I've never always been against, because I do feel that sometimes low deposits can encourage future cancellations. But at the moment, just to put that stimulus in there to encourage more people to book, maybe that's something tour operators can do. More early booking offers coming out, more reasons for customers to book early for 2021 is what we need, and hopefully tour operators will get behind the Save Travel campaign in their own way by putting just amazing offers and enticements for customers to book early for 2021. Because I think, in all honesty, that's what we need to focus on now. It will be great if we see an uplift in business the rest of this year and through to winter, but realistically, we need to focus on getting those bookings in early for 2021 now.
Yeah, I can say, and this is it. So you feel like, from speaking to your customers, that maybe some are on the fence and some want to, but they're quite unsure at the moment. But do you think with that added carrot, that added incentive of booking offers, whether that might be able to get them over the line?
Definitely. I was speaking to a customer last week who's looking to go away with a particular company. It'll be unfair of me to name them. The deposit's 150 per person. She said, "Oh, you know what? If that deposit was even 100 per person, I'd probably just book that, because if something happened, I wouldn't be bothered about losing my money." And actually, I think, many operators could probably get out there and look to do that low deposit scheme. Or, enticements to book early, more enticements to book early, I think would really help us at the moment. But I appreciate that not all these operators are back to full staff, not all these operators financially are able to do those things, but certainly, it will help us as agents if we had more offers to go out there with at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it all sounds great. It's sort of just ideas, isn't it? Ideas to stimulate and to
keep
sort of
it rolling.
energize. Yeah.
We want to save travel, and this is what we're going to do to save travel. You've got amazing travel agents out there, and booking through these amazing travel agents, not only are you going to get an ATOL or a financially protected holiday, but we've got these amazing offers for you as well. So, but we need everybody to get involved.
Fantastic. Well, I'll leave. Thanks again for your time every Monday. I do really appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoys hearing your sort of sage words of wisdom every week. It's always really appreciated. I was going to say, how are you looking for the rest of the week? Is it sort of more of the same and just more hard graft ahead, I imagine?
Yeah, more of the same, I must be honest. We've got a few good inquiries have come through already today, so that's encouraging. All we can do is just keep building on the previous week at the moment. Obviously, we can't look year on year anymore. I daren't look year on year. That would upset me too much. But if we do better than last week, I'll be happy. Yeah, fantastic. Well, you keep fighting the good fight, and thanks to everyone for joining us again for 1 week at a time. Let's see you again at the same place and the same time next week. Thanks very much, everyone. All the best. Cheers.